Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Swachh Bharat Mission may have saved lives of 60,000 to 70,000 children every year. This is what a new study published in the prestigious international science journal Nature now says. The study, in fact, investigated the association between the Swachh Bharat Mission and the infant and under 5 mortality rates in India, studying data from 35 Indian states and 640 districts over a period of a decade. This research shows that the post-Swachh Bharat mission in India, the period in India, exhibited accelerated reductions in infant and child mortality compared to pre-2014. Today, we are joined by Parameswaran Iyer, who was the in charge of the world's largest sanitation program launched on October 2, 2014 to turn India open defecation free by 2020. Mr. Iyer, a former IAS officer, was brought from the World Bank to India to steer this program in 2016 and handle this mission till 2020. Mr. Iyer today joins us from the US. Thanks for joining us on CNN News 18. Mr. Iyer, my first question, would you agree with the study published in Nature? And what has been your first-hand experience of handling the Swachh Bharat mission, the entire program?
Good evening, Aman. Good to be back with you. And let me very emphatically say that fully agree with the results and the outcome of this important study by Nature in terms of the significant reduction in infant and child mortality due to the Swachh Bharat mission. I mean, we always knew that provision of toilets and access to sanitation had very significant health impacts, in addition to all the other impacts of economic impacts and, of course, the dignity and security of women. But this study, which is a peer-reviewed journal, brings out very rigorously the health impacts. And we think it's very significant. But let me also add that it took Prime Minister Modi, I think the first and only world leader who put sanitation and reducing open defecation very squarely on the national development agenda. I still remember August 15th, 2014, when he made that dramatic announcement from the ramparts of the Red Fort, and everyone was taken aback that the Prime Minister of India is talking about toilets and open defecation from during his Independence Day speech. It was a dramatic moment. I think it was an inflection point in India's journey towards eradicating open defecation. And then, apart from the announcement, he followed through by making sure it was implemented. So a remarkable journey, a very big and bold announcement, which took everyone by surprise. And then you can see the results today.
Well, absolutely. And, many may know that Mr. Iyer, in fact, has also penned a book on his entire experience of being in the government, working with the government on contract. And I recall a particular line from your book, Mr. Iyer, where you said how did you describe your first meeting with PM Modi when you came to India to take over the Swachh Bharat program to run the mission. And I remember you writing that Mr. Modi was the trump card of the campaign. Would you throw some light over your experience of what that experience with Mr. Modi was?
There's no question that Prime Minister Modi, apart from being the brain behind it, was also our communicator-in-chief, Aman. You know, he missed no opportunity to address the nation, including during Man Ki Baat, where he would come out with excellent examples of how ordinary people converted this program into a Jan Andolan. So it was an inspirational leadership of the Prime Minister, and which went all the way down to chief ministers and district magistrates, PM, CM, DM, as we like to say in the UP cadre, which was the magic formula. But unquestioningly, the Prime Minister's eye for symbol, for communication, for impact. I remember him talking about the toilet being an Izzat Ghar in UP, how women and girls would use that for dignity. So in many ways, he oversaw the program in great detail. He missed no opportunity to communicate the importance of sanitation, how the country would benefit from it, how he galvanized the Council of Ministers, the entire apparatus. And I think most importantly, he permanently emphasized this has to be a Jan Andolan. This was not a Sarkari program. How it needed to go all the way down, how village communities needed to own the program, and take out Gaurav Yatras when their particular villages became open defecation free. So all in all, this was a program which was led by the Prime Minister, overseen by the Prime Minister, and I think the results speak for themselves.
Mr. Iyer, of course, when the program was launched and the Prime Minister came up with this idea that every house must have a toilet, I think your main idea was that the country should turn open defecation free. But what this study is now showing also is that this led to another benefit, because the improvement of water and sanitation conditions have also maybe led to reduction in infant mortality. Particularly in a country like India, where open defecation was highly prevalent before 2014. So when you started the mission, did you perceive that these kind of benefits and these kind of lives being saved could also be like a collateral benefit of this entire program?
That's a good point, Aman. So when we started the program, we intuitively knew, and there was some evidence which showed that access to safe sanitation definitely decreases infant mortality and children below the age of 5. There was some evidence of that, because there was a direct connection between the lack of sanitation, lack of water, increase in diarrheal deaths. So, and the most vulnerable, as you know, are infants and children below the age of 5. But this study has conclusively proven it. We also knew, for example, that access to sanitation can also help in reducing childhood stunting. Again, similar pathogens in the intestines, which access to sanitation prevents. But there's another benefit as well, Aman, in addition to this very, very important benefit of saving lives. And that's a huge number, 50,000 to 70,000 lives saved every year. That is huge. In addition to this, there's an economic benefit as well, which we learned through a study conducted by UNICEF, that in every open defecation-free village, each individual household was likely to benefit, to save as much as 50,000 rupees a year on account of avoided medical fees, time savings, real estate value, and so on. So the Swachh Bharat Mission had multiple spin-offs. In addition to the Prime Minister announcing from the Red Fort, addressing the dignity and security of women. So I think there were multiple benefits, and this health benefit today, which we're seeing in the nature study, perhaps one of the most significant.
Mr. Iyer, when the Swachh Bharat Mission was launched, and I remember Prime Minister, as you said, fixing a very ambitious deadline that within 6 years, we should get this program completed. Did you think that you could have done this? Because, there was obviously a lot of pressure of deadlines, of working with state chief ministers, getting them on board. That experience, how did that pan out? Of working with various CMs and getting this plan, executed as per the deadline fixed by the Prime Minister.
No, you're right, Aman. Look, when I came back and was given the responsibility of implementing the Prime Minister's vision, initially there was some skepticism around, never in our team, but it became very, very important to do what we call the ABC, align with the big vision thrown out by the Prime Minister, believe first within ourselves, and then communicate. So I think that became critical. And in our federal system, it was very, very important for each state government, but going all the way down to the district and the village, to align with the vision of the Prime Minister. And I think our role was to communicate, engage with the states. And I think very soon everyone came on board. And once we had a collective belief and a complementary set of activities from center to state to district to village, it all became possible. Young district collectors took this program upon themselves as a major challenge. Village sarpanches, schoolgirls. So it truly became a Jan Andolan. There was a sense of excitement. And then, of course, we had the messaging and the communication by the Prime Minister, which really inspired us all.
So that is it. We heard from the man himself who launched the Swachh Bharat Mission in India, who steered it, of course, and he gives all the credit to the Prime Minister for being the communicator in chief, for bringing the vision. And Mr. Iyer, thank you so much for joining us and throwing light on what a remarkable mission it has been, and now leading international journals actually giving out the benefits of this historic mission, as I would say, the biggest world sanitation program in terms of reducing infant mortality and under 5 mortality rates. Thank you so much, Mr. Iyer, for joining us from the US, and thank you so much for being on CNN News 18.
Thank you, Aman.